Mental Health Monday, it's time to talk about healthcare again. The new repeal and replace Graham-Cassidy bill will radically change how we access healthcare. Forget about the dark days before the Affordable Care Act. This bill takes money away from states that need the dollars the most, blows up the ACA. This version of Trump Care demonstrates that the RNC's goal is to move wealth to big business insurance companies. Ensuring elderly Americans pay more. Why we choose to burden this vulnerable segment of our population with keeping the youth of this nation healthy boggles my mind. Allowing insurance companies to discriminate against folks with a pre-existing condition is inhumane. Full stop. Did you know that something as simple as acne can be considered? That when insurance companies wield this policy, they purposely price out folks like myself, ensuring that my access to healthcare be limited to plans that don't actually cover me. That this policy change will affect the elderly disproportionately? Insurers enjoy huge profits by making sure they do not cover folks who are sick, the very folks that they were originally created to serve. Next chapter, lifetime caps. I see a therapist once a week. Every 6 weeks or so, a psychiatrist for medication management, institutionalized 12 times. Countless visits to the emergency room, one that required a 2-week stay in the ICU. So lifetime caps on care have real consequences to my life. These types of caps often focus on my type of care. It is easy to see how one could quickly find themselves without affordable access to health care. What about breast cancer? What if you need expensive treatments that could mean the real difference of remission or death? Yet the last round of chemo, that last surgery, is denied by your insurance company because cancer is costly and you have reached your lifetime cap. Trump Care is bad for this nation and must be stopped. 5calls.org makes it simple to call your senators. Next chapter, limited services. Once, when I was young and didn't understand the real financial cost of my mental illness, I purchased a junk plan. The price seemed right and the co-pays within my budget until I read the fine print. This plan only covered 6 therapy and 3 psychiatric visits a year. I ended up starving myself to pay out of pocket for my med management and forgoing talk therapy. This had real consequences to my health and ended up costing the health system a lot of money. See, I lost my job, ended up in the emergency room in an RTC for 3 months, all paid with Medicaid dollars. This could have been prevented if the insurance companies had not been allowed to scam me. Next chapter, equal access to care. The ACA did a lot to tackle fundamental flaws in the previous messy system. Pre-existing conditions is the most talked about. However, equal access, otherwise known as parity, was just as important. As previously demonstrated, insurance companies often discriminated against non-profitable treatments because without profit, there is no one to lobby for us. Diabetes is a perfect example. Like me, diabetics require medication and constant testing to stay alive and healthy. Unlike me, however, this illness is quite profitable to treat. Testing supplies, insulin, and such make it a cash cow for insurers and product manufacturers. They often cover this with few limitations. Mental health, on the other hand, is expensive. Testing requires us to go to a lab for a blood draw on a regular basis. And add therapy and psychiatric appointments, and well, they simply do not want to pay. Next chapter, solutions. Enough about what is wrong with Trump Care. Let's discuss how we can fix the flaws in the ACA. Although it was a great leap forward, it too has serious flaws. Premiums are too high for the middle class, eating up budgets, forcing hard-working Americans to make real sacrifices. Deductibles were often out of reach for most of the middle class. This is largely due to lack of competition. Car insurance, for example, is quite reasonable because companies like Geico have lowered the cost overall. We need to open up the system, punish insurers who leave the markets, allowing monopolies. No mistake, this is collusion. Next chapter, public option. Allowing every American to buy into a public nonprofit insurance option will force insurance companies to be innovative and drive down prices overall. This option doesn't have to be the best plan out there, yet it should cover basic preventative care, have reasonable deductibles and copays. Medicare does this. There are also supplemental plans folks can buy to boost the services they have access to, so those willing to make the sacrifice can and are rewarded for doing so. Yes, a public option will cost the government a pretty penny. However, in the long run, as a nation, we will reap the benefits. Can't say this enough. A healthy population is a thriving population. A healthy workforce is more productive and raises the game, allows us to be competitive with our Western nations. Thank you everyone for following me this week. I sincerely appreciate all of the hearts and comments, especially DMs that help me see others' perspective. Hope you all had a great weekend. See you on Mental Health Monday.